Hey guys, my internet is not working. It hasn't worked for hours. They're doing some construction or something. They must have messed something up. I don't know what happened. But it was perfect. It was perfect because I needed to get back to doing my Qigong. And since I didn't have access to any distractions, I got back to doing it. And I used to have it memorized, and now it's coming back to me. Really, yeah, I was doing everything before the instructions said to, so it's coming back, like riding a bike, right? And I did some Byron Katie today, and a friend said, "Isn't this ironic?" Because we set up a time to do like a regression type thing. It's a kind of a long story, but you know how all these synchronicities line up and stuff. And basically, Spirit was telling me, you need to, you need to work on these mother issues and stuff. And so I was like, okay. And so then today was the time that I had arranged to have a friend do it for me, do a regression for me. It was really ironic that the daily guidance actually talked about healing mother issues. And I just thought, okay, of course. So being that I don't have the internet right now and I can't be doing my live, which I am going to resume or kind of reschedule for Tuesday 10:11 Pacific time, 11:11 Mountain time, and 1:11 Eastern time. So if you guys missed the live, if you've already paid, I'm going to start with you. If you've already sent your money to PayPal, the address is www.paypal.me/Amy Satori. If you want to send $11 there, I answer a personal question on the live for you. So please put the note in with your PayPal payment so I don't have to go hunting for your question. And then, of course, I answer any general questions for free. So for those of you, and I'm assuming hopefully that my internet will be up by this evening and I'll be able to upload this video and you guys can get that information, but I'm also going to put it on Instagram as soon as I can as well. So since I have this moment, I thought I would take an opportunity to talk about my history with mothers and having to do with that subject. I don't know why all this is coming up right now. It's just crazy. It's crazy. There must be a lot of you that are also kind of facing this. I know a lot of you want kids and have wanted to for a long time, and you're kind of feeling, oh, come to think of it, our collective this week is about babies. Oh my gosh, I just remembered. It's coming out on Wednesday. You guys will definitely want to tune in for that. So anyway, it's a theme in the air. It is definitely, there's all kinds of spirit babies that want to come through right now that are very blessed, talented, beautiful, incredible, light-being children that want to come through and help the planet at this time. So I think that that's why there's all this pressure about that. But so for those of you who don't really care about my personal life, then you should probably tune out now. For those of you who, feel like there could be something to be learned from this talk about me talking about my personal life, then you can continue watching if you'd like. Okay, so and some of you are probably in the same boat as I'm in, but most of you are not. Most of you really, really want kids, and I never have. Never wanted them. And was, dead set against it my whole life that if somebody, if you were to tell somebody that I got pregnant or something, they wouldn't believe you. There's no way in hell Amy's gonna have a baby. There's just no way. Now, having said that, I've babysat my whole life, and I was a live-in nanny for a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I loved those kids more than anything. In fact, I rescued them in an earthquake one time in California. The parents sat in bed, and I grabbed the kids out of the bedroom, and I had one under each arm and ran down the hallway and saved them, pretty much, brought them to their parents. So I do love children, and I am a big child myself, but I never wanted them because, honestly, I've had really horrific things happen with children in past lives. For those of you who also feel like I am, that's probably why. And it's really hard to face that. It's like, you know, when you go basically when you go through anything traumatic like that, it makes you never want to face that thing or look at that thing ever again. Or, you know, it's like some people who have had a lot of animals that have died, the same thing. It's like that I don't want any more animals in my life. I'm going to protect myself from ever having animals again, kind of thing. It was subconscious, of course. I had no idea. I just thought that, you know, wanting a child is like, well, why would anybody want a kid? Like, you can have so much more fun without a kid in tow, right? So I didn't understand people who wanted to have them, and I just had this big thing against it. In fact, I actually got pregnant once, and I was married to the wrong person, and I was devastated. I was devastated when I found out. I was not happy. I was so down about it because I didn't want to be stuck to him for the rest of my life, and I did not want to be stuck to his mother for the rest of my life. She was pretty bad. If you've ever seen that movie, Monster-in-Law, it's yeah. She was a work of art, that's for sure. But so when you get pregnant and you're devastated and you're really upset because of the person that you're with and their mother or whatever, you know you're with the wrong person. Because it was that moment that I also knew that I didn't want to be with him anymore. It was a really defining moment where I thought, you know what, if I'm that devastated to be like linked to him for the rest of my life, what am I doing being linked to him for the rest of my life for? Like, what am I doing? But it also made me realize a little tiny part of me went, maybe if I really, really, really love somebody, I would want to have kids. Maybe I just haven't loved somebody enough to want to do that. And so that just kind of like peeked the door open a little bit for me, like years ago. And then as I was healing, you guys, a lot of you might know about my ex-boyfriend Mo that died. He came to me while we had to go through a healing. We had to go through a healing when he died, and that took years to get over him. And then he told me, like, toward the end, he said, you're gonna have a baby. And I said, there's no way in hell. No, you don't tell me that. And he said, yeah, you're gonna have a kid. And that kid is going to be an amazing, amazing child. And he says, I know what's best for you. Like, I know what's best for you, and you would be really happy being a mom. And I just cried, and I got so mad at him, and I was just like, I never want to have kids, and the whole thing, right? And then I had like other psychics and stuff and friends say, Amy, you're going to have a kid. And no, I'm not. I did this for you. I did this forever. And then my latest masculine said something about wanting kids. I was like, you know. Okay, let me see. And by the way, when I got pregnant before, I did not abort it. It was an ectopic pregnancy. It ended up getting stuck in my tubes, and we had to have it like removed. And yeah, anyway, I'm not going to get into too many details, but yeah, so I found that out. So then I was like, oh gosh, okay, well, I don't know about this, Then I had to like acclimate to the idea. I started getting open about it. I started doing like past life regressions about my history with children. And I mean, I do know like why I love children so much. So why wouldn't I want to have kids, And I've always been open to being like a stepmom. So I thought, well, why would I want to be a stepmom when I don't want to be a mom? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So then I saw the face of a particular child and fell in love so hard that I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm gonna have a kid. And I just told my friend, I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to have a child. I want to have a child, but only with him. He's the only person on the planet that I'd be willing to have a child with. It's like, it's just, I've come to that conclusion that it is a key only to be opened by that special person. You know what I mean? And it would be very difficult to make that happen, I think, but I want one now. If I don't have one, I'd be perfectly fine too, because I'd just be right back with what I always wanted anyway. So I'm not going to be upset if I don't. But the more that I've thought about it, and when I saw that child's face, and it's life has been prepping me for this. And as you've seen in many of my videos, or heard in many of my videos, and some of my daily guidances and stuff like that, you hear children all around me. They are all around me, everywhere. And they are doing really cute little precious things, and every child loves me. So I don't know. Some children just walked by right now. And I had this little this video I made for a friend looking out my kitchen window this morning. There's a little boy and a little girl in a little quad, and he was driving her around this little grassy area out there, and they were just going up and over these hills and stuff, and they were just so cute. Oh my gosh, they were so cute. So anyway, I did some Byron Katie work on it, because when my internet stopped working, we had to stop the regression. We'd already had this really awesome epiphany, like this really beautiful moment, a healing moment actually, that involved my dad. Now, this is another aspect that's kind of crazy. My dad was always like, be an independent woman, and don't be dependent on a man, and blah, 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 blah. So he never talked about having kids or anything anyway. He wasn't one of those parents who were like, I can't wait to be a grandparent or anything like that. So he always supported me and my brother never wanting to have kids or anything. So that was always fine. But my dad went through this crazy thing where he just started loving children like crazy. Like, he is like so crazy over children that and especially babies. I don't know why, but he goes out of his way to go blow on a baby's belly, or to kiss their little arms, or to kiss their little faces, or to give them little hugs, or to talk to them like I'm talking to you. And it is the cutest thing ever, the way that he is with children, or the way that he is with these little babies. So, and I don't know where that came from, but he came to me in a vision. My dad came to me as like an angel, which is kind of really bizarre anyway, already. And then he was holding my little baby, and he like bouncing this little baby, and looking at it all cute like he does. And my mom was there, and it was just like this really amazing healing moment of my dad like introducing me to my spirit child. And he's like, look at it. Look at this little, he was like pointing out all these really, really cute things. So it was like I had this really amazing vision in this like bonding with my dad and my mom. My mom has passed away. But it was just like this beautiful moment. All of a sudden, boom, the internet went out. So I didn't get to continue into the regression, but it was still such a beautiful thing, healing thing that happened there. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go do Byron Katie's work on this. I'm going to continue with the theme of momhood. And so I thought I would read this to you, because many of you who are learning Byron Katie's work, it can be tough to get. It can be really tough to get. You have to want to learn how to do it really well to get good at it, and to really have it free you. You've got to have that desire. So I'm just going to use the example of this issue in my life to show you guys how to do Byron Katie's work. Okay. So you have to come up with a stressful thought, something that you're like, okay, what am I really, really, really afraid of? Like, what is my most stressful thought about that, whatever that issue is? And I came up with, if I allow myself to love a child, I'll be afraid to hurt it, or that it will get hurt, and it will be under my watch, or I will have somehow been responsible for it, or I would, feel guilty because something happened to the child. Whether I would probably make myself feel guilty about it, even if I had nothing to do with it. I just know that I would be like one of those moms that are incredibly protective, and would like fly in front of a car for the kid. I mean, like I would do anything. So because I've done it before in prior lives and stuff like that, and because I just know me. And so I've always been like afraid that it would just consume me, and make me like worry all the time. But so I worked through it here. So if I allow myself to love a child, I'll be afraid to hurt it, is my stressful thought. So how do I get, how does it affect my life when I believe that thought is true? Well, I get afraid to give my heart completely because I'll feel responsible should something happen to it. I wouldn't forgive myself. I get anxiety. I avoid kids. I keep distant. If I get too close, I worry. I've never wanted to have kids because of it. So then you ask yourself, if I had amnesia and I could never think that thought again, yet everything else is the same, then how would things be different if I could never think that thought again, if I was just incapable of having that thought? Well, I'd care more about the joy. I'd care more about the joy than the fear. I would just enjoy the child as long as I could. There are no certainties with life anyway. I would connect with the child deeply in this moment, and I would teach it how to hold the space, which would keep the child safer, and up its chances of survival. I would well up with love for my husband, because whoever I'd want to have kids with, I'd have to love tremendously. I would try to make every moment as special as it could be. And then you do turnarounds with the original statement. So that means like taking the statement, changing up the people that you're talking about, changing up the subject slightly, like interchange the words, interchange the order, interchange from positive to negative, and you got to get creative with that part of it. So I took that statement, if I allow myself to love a child, I'll be afraid to hurt it. And I turned it around to, if I allow myself to love a child, I won't be afraid to hurt it. So that's to the opposite. Number one, I'd be extra aware of being overly protective and would actively work at letting go and trusting. Number two, I would teach it the art of presence, which would keep it safe better than I ever could possibly. 3, if I myself focus on staying in the moment, we'll have the most beautiful relationship and both be protected. Number 4, my husband would also be looking out for the child, so it wouldn't all be on me, and I'm sure there would be others. Children tend to attract people who love them. 5, I'm sure I'll get or study lots of great advice on it, because I don't have a clue what I'm doing other than being I was a live-in nanny. I know what I'm doing, but you know what I mean. There would be so many things that I would wonder about or worry about or any of that. 6, I've been a live-in nanny and babysat my whole life, and I'm great with kids. They love me. 7, we'd probably also have animals that would be protective. So then I did another turnaround to the original stressful thought. And I turned it around to, if I don't allow myself to love a child, I could really hurt me. And here's the proof and evidence that that's just as true, if not truer, than the original statement. Number 1, I may not have anyone there for me when I'm old. 2, I could avoid the love of my life, not wanting to have kids and missing out on my family. Number 3, I could be heartbroken over missing out on an amazing thing if they move on with someone else. Number 4, it keeps you young to have kids in your energy. It could be bad for my health to not have them. You got to think outside the box, right? 5, if I miss out on my family or a family, in order to protect myself, I could die faster from a lack of joy in my life. So that's just kind of how it works, though. And then you just start to kind of unravel that belief that has such a hold on you, And it makes you more versatile. It makes you, if you can tackle any kind of subject. Now, this just happens to be about having kids and stuff like that, but your issue could be the opposite. You could really want to have kids and you're not able to have them. So that would be another thing that you could address and look at all the different angles as to the proof and evidence of the opposite being just as true, if not truer, than the original statement. You could, this could be a fear of just about anything. And basically, you want to take a good look at anything that you refuse to do or refuse to be or think that you're better than, or anything that you judge harshly, or if you're taking a really heavy stance or have a really strong opinion about something, you should probably do this self-inquiry work on it so that you can just basically become pretty darn neutral and pretty versatile and pretty easygoing about anything, and usually the things that keep us stuck are fear anyway. So this exercise is designed to eliminate fear and to help you really go with the flow. And why would I want to keep myself from something that could really benefit my life and really make me very, very happy and give me the most incredible moments of my life, just because I have a hang up over past life issues, or just because I'm, afraid to get hurt, or, that's what it's really about. I'm afraid to get hurt because I would be hurt if something happened to that child. I would be really hurt. And it's like, I don't want to go through that pain, right? But why? It's like you stop living if you let something totally control you like that. Your fear of something happening or not happening take control of you. So this, especially at these times in these crazy days, it is especially important to be healing yourself and healing anything that you have left unhealed. So especially those of you with any kind of issues with mothers or babies or any of that right now. I mentioned in the daily also that some of you were mistreated as a child by your parents. So that could be one of the issues as well that you have to work out. I'm going to end up like my mom. I'm going to end up like my dad, whatever it is. I had all the issues. I had a horrible stepmother growing up. Horrible, horrible, horrible. She was awful to me. So I could be afraid that I'm going to end up like her, which I wouldn't. But, I could be afraid of that. If that would have been my issue, I would have written that down on the paper, but that wasn't my issue. But, it's like we can always come up with an excuse not to do what it is that we really want to do. But life is all about taking the bull by the horns, looking the fear in the face, and figuring it out. Looking at it from a different perspective so that you can just totally lighten up and be willing to do whatever, and to just be like, okay, yeah, I've had a lot of animals die, but, having them for that, why don't I look at the death part differently so that I can enjoy the hell out of them as long as I have them, They only last however many years hamsters last a couple of 2 to 5 years, bunnies do too. And then you got the ones that last like 10, 15 years like dogs, or cats can live up to 20. Well, whatever it is, it's like if you can start looking at the death part differently, then you're not going to be afraid to go through all the joys of all the other stuff. Or if you can learn how to, peacefully put an animal down, then you'll feel better about that process. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is that you're so afraid of happening, if you can make peace with, or look at it look at the end result in such a way that it could be a good thing, or it could be peaceful, or it could be like, some people are afraid to get in relationships because they're afraid to lose that person. They might go through a breakup and they might lose money, or they might lose their reputation, or they might, any of that kind of stuff too. It's a similar thing. Like, okay, how about you see the breakup as a good thing, that you'll have learned and grown and all of this. And if you lose your, you lose your following on YouTube, and then you get more genuine audience who loves you for who you are. Like learn whatever it is you're afraid of losing, see that thing as a good thing, or potentially good thing, or that it could go better than ever. Because maybe this person is so nice, they're not going to put you through a horrible breakup. It would be like a very amicable breakup that benefits everybody. Like why not? It doesn't have to be like your ex relationships where they just really put you through the ringer and tried to make you look bad and lied about you, or any of that stuff. It doesn't have to be the same drama. So take a good look at whatever it is that you're afraid of. Take a look at the biggest thing that you're afraid of in it, and then do Katie's work on it. Or I think that's the most effective way, but however works for you, whatever works for you, try to see what you're so afraid of actually going being a good thing. That's also why why it's really good to do the exercise. Thank you, God, for my misery. It can do the same thing. Thank you, God, that I might get divorced from this person eventually in 20 years, whatever. Thank you, God, that this person could die on me. Thank you, God, that, my daughter could disappear. Thank you, God, that whatever it is that you would be like really afraid of, write that down, or the things that are in the past that have happened that you're afraid of, or like that did happen already. You could say, thank you, God, that, that I was raped. Thank you, God, that somebody took all my money. Thank you, God, that this person could take all my money. Thank you, God, that my reputation was ruined, whatever you want to write. And then that's just what you write on the top, just one of those things. Thank you, God, for XYZ. Then you write 10 to 15 advantages or benefits as to why that would be a really good thing that happened. And I know it's hard for some of this stuff. It's like you think it's just so awful that it couldn't possibly be good, but there was always a benefit or an advantage, or your higher self would not have put you through it. It's to make you stronger. It's to empower you. It is not to make you weaker and to make you paralyzed to ever make another move again. You know what I mean? So you got to start seeing things differently if you're in that, just like stuck in fear about whatever subject that is. So I hope that helps. And then if you were to list it, just list thank you, God, for whatever that is at the top of the page. It's probably actually this way in the video. Then you just write them all on the page, flip it over, and then do the next one at the top of the next sheet of paper. And you could go for like 45 minutes to an hour if you really want to cause a major shift around, feeling kind of victimized by life in a way, kind of feeling afraid the other shoe's going to drop any minute, or something bad could happen if you try to do something good, or if you want to do something good, or if you dare go for your dreams or what it is that you truly want, like something's gonna get you, or something's gonna use it against you, or somebody's gonna, there's like endless fears that you could contemplate, but getting over those fears is living. It's living. And if you have a strong enough spirit and an attitude that can get you around those obstacles, then you can do anything. And you can have your dreams come true. All right. Have yourselves a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. If you like my videos, please like, subscribe, and share them with your friends. Also, feel free to join me at patreon.com/Amy Satori, where I post monthly energy readings, pick a decks, and other goodies for members only, including discounts for readings and being entered to win a free reading at the end of the year. Memberships start as low as $5.55 a month. Sometimes I even put my free collective love readings on Patreon first before uploading them here to YouTube. If you're wanting more information about my show on TuneIn Radio, how to order a personal reading, or other goings-on, you can check the description of my videos for the most up-to-date information.